Aries, hello. I did about an hour-long reading for you guys. If you're interested in longer readings, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm gonna just do check-ins to see what the challenges are, what's blocking the divine union in your situation. And if you really just want some sort of cutting to the chase information, which is not very divine, but hey, maybe if you just want to kind of touch base on things you can do practically or even magically, I think that the two are intertwined based on experience. So, but if you want to just kind of see some practical applications, maybe some spell work that you can do briefly, you can follow me on Instagram. Same name, Vegan Terrorist. And I'll be uploading some, just reels, 90 seconds or less of some kind of practical application of whatever I divine through your readings. So in the immediate challenge, I see the Emperor, the Three of Swords, the King of Wands, and the Two of Wands. Alright, the Emperor here is looking away from this Three of Swords energy, this heartbreak, this disappointment. Actually, in your previous reading, the Emperor was looking at the Three of Swords. So it was almost like somebody was focused on the past, but in this, I see that the Emperor is not focusing on that heartbreak. Alright, so this could be you, and maybe the person that you're dealing with. If you're the feminine, it could be a false emperor. Maybe they are focused on past heartbreak. They're still releasing some kind of grief, and that could be the holdup. That could be why they're not coming in. The King of Wands is looking away. This could also be a sign of denial, that somebody isn't acknowledging the fact that they were a victim in a situation, or that they were taken for granted, that they invested in something that was disappointing. And expectations are not a bad thing. I mean, it's not a low vibration to have expectations. I think that they're part of, judgment is useful, standards, boundaries, right? It's all a reflection of your self-worth. So you can expect things of your divine counterpart. It's when you start to expect or demand things from individuals, then you're challenging people you're pushing people, right? Challenging can be very healthy, but it's almost like somebody could be pushing somebody else, right? Trying to hurry somebody else to get on their level or get on their frequency. And frequencies are kind of like time and space. It's non-linear. It's not that you can be in a higher vibration for your path, but that doesn't mean that you're better than anybody else, right? So there could be some comparison going on here. Somebody could be comparing themselves to a past version of themselves, right? Like living in the past, and so there could be that stagnancy, that inability to let go. Could be root chakra work. We do have this Two of Wands, and this person is using almost like a post hole digger to dig a hole. Like they could be digging up roots, or digging a hole so that they can put roots down, right? And that's the Two of Wands here. Twos are about coming together right? They can be about a union, a partnership coming together. But anytime that there is a coming together of something, that means there has to be a releasing of something else, making room for something else. Letting go of the old to make room for the new. So anytime there's a two, there's a choice. There's a fork in the road. There's always that, you know, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. There's always a choice. Somebody has to be decisive. So there could be some indecision here. The King of Wands and the Emperor are looking in opposite directions, right? So if you're, you know, kings and queens are born into their kingdom, and the Emperor is all about a choice. So you are by nature a King of Wands, right? You could be in your masculine aspect. Now, if you are the feminine, that could be your challenge, right? Because the Emperor is looking for an Empress. So if you're in your masculine energy too heavily as the feminine, as the divine feminine, then you're going to attract lower vibrational or false emperors because you're not aligned. You're not on your divine frequency. I saw one flip. There it is. All right, so we have the Ten of Swords, Five of Wands. Ten of Swords is about cycles of disappointment. Ooh, Eight of Swords. Yeah, sleepless nights. Could be a hormonal influence here. Maybe just needing to do some breath work before you go to sleep. Excuse me. Ten of Cups at the bottom, Four of Wands at the bottom. All right, so we have the Four of Wands, Ten of Cups. That's it. That's divine union. It's right there. You're right there, Aries. It's coming. There's just this little hang up, right? Close you get to God, close the devil gets to you. Trying to creep in on your, and they're always kind of lurking. So there's a need to maybe work on your third eye so that you can see them. See the shadows, right? Within yourself. That's what the devil is. It's a possession of the self, right? It's your lower vibration. I mean, others can influence that for sure, but only if you let them, right? So you have the power here. I've got the power. And you see how this individual here with the Eight of Swords is blindfolded. They're bound. You're bound in your own. Now with swords all around you, this could be thinking, right? You could be, how they're connected here is with this Three of Swords. You could be just ruminating a lot on this past disappointment, this past investment that didn't go through, right? And we have the Five of Wands, which is your energy, which is a lack of your energy. Five is about lack. Five is about the halfway point to the 10, to an ending, right? So it's an ending must come before a new beginning. Something must be released before new can come in. And so if you're stuck at the 5, it's like there's, like in math, how you round up from the 5, right? You can round up from here, or you can view it as half. So maybe it's a half glass, half empty or half full kind of thing, right? So it is about perspective. That's what swords are. Swords are about the perspective. They're about thoughts. They're about communication. With this blockage in your energy, I feel like this is a communication with self. So maybe that's why the King of Wands and the Emperor are looking away from each other. It's like, yeah, you're a King of Wands because you were born. I'm getting masculine energy here, so I'm likely talking to the masculine. If you're the feminine, then just know that this is what your masculine is going through right now. or if you are the feminine and you're in your masculine energy, then there's a need to soften this heart space, right? Maybe through doing some child's pose, grounding yourself, getting outside, planting something in the ground, right? Getting into some earth energy, right? Your cardinal fire, which is fire, fire. So you can get into some, we have the chariot over here too. So you could get into your moon energy, right? That will help get you into your feminine aspect. And if you have maybe a Cancer moon, it would be maybe easier for you. It would translate, right? Because each element and modality and energy is like a language. It's all information, and it's just different frequencies of delivery and reception of that. That language, right? So cardinal energy can speak to each other a little bit easier, right? So so maybe you can get into your heart space by getting into more Cancerian energy, right? And that will get you into the more feminine aspect of your energy that's accessible to you. Now, it's not supposed to be easy. that's not the point. But with all these swords here, I feel like there's no need to make it harder on yourself, because especially if you're the feminine, you're already naturally, by being fire is a masculine energy, so you're cardinal fire, your double masculine energy. And if you're in a female body and you're the divine feminine, there's already a struggle with that. So there's no need to make it harder on yourself by saying like, oh, I need to get into my earth energy or something that's completely out of your easier reach, right? It's like if you're trying to change your diet up, right? It takes food prep, right? And you can eat in a more yin way, like eating lots of fruits, eating things that are higher in water content, juice fasting and things like that. But it takes a lot of prep to do that. And so if you have the means to just maybe buy the juice already juiced, and it might be maybe not aligned in the grander scheme of things for you to do that, but for convenience, I feel like you're under a lot of pressure in this moment because the union is so close, it's right there, that I feel like there's no need to push yourself, right? So that pushing could be also about pushing yourself. That's very innate for you to do that because you're so much fire energy, and that you are the leaders, right? So to lead somebody, it isn't about pushing, and when you're leading yourself, it's not about pushing. So as without, so within. So the energy is going to be mirroring from what you're doing with yourself because you're trying to attract your divine frequency, right? Like when you pull up next to somebody at a stoplight and they're singing the same song on the radio to you, it's like there's just that sort of, oh, there you are, you're on the same frequency as me. So there's something about making something a little bit easier on yourself, being easier on yourself. That's also very feminine energy, right? Nurturing yourself, being kind to yourself. And there we have Justice and the Queen of Wands. You could also get into, see, you could be, Libra is your polarity sign, right? And they are also cardinal. All polarity signs are within the same modality. So that's your cardinal sign, and you may just be too much into the Libra energy with all these swords, right? And Libras are like the cheerleaders of the zodiac. I feel like They're very supportive, they're rah rah rah, they like everybody to be, go fight win, happy go lucky. And so they have a tendency to put on a false front of like, I have it all together, I'm doing okay. So you could be in that aspect, but inside you're like this. Communication is blocked somehow within yourself, because there's denial of your truth and what you actually want to communicate. Now you might already know this person because of the 4 of Wands and the 10 of Cups. The masculine, and I was getting this in the longer one, there's like a blueprint already made. The masculine has already created this space and it recognizes the feminine, knows the feminine, sees the feminine, like sees them mouthing the same lyrics to the song. But the feminine's windows are up, right? And so it's like the masculine is coming in, right? The feminine has a tendency to, and now Libras can be quite bossy, right? So if you see them in a lot of the female Libras that I know, they tend to be like the pants wearers of their partnerships. And there's more of a, because they're in more of their cardinal aspect, but fire and air are both masculine, so they also are like you in a very masculine aspect. And so the challenge for balance, right? How do you get balance if you're not grounded, right? And if you're flying, right? If you're trying to get balance and you're trying to balance in on a flight, and the winds, there's a lot of turbulence up there, right? So sometimes it's better to just ground the plane, right? So bringing the, and you could be getting a lot of, you could relate to birds. I mean, your Native American zodiac is the hawk or the falcon, right? It can be interpreted as both, which are quite vocal. Their sound clips for eagles in a lot of movies, they're actually hawks, that are, that screech that you hear is usually a hawk, versus an eagle. And so with all this blocked communication, the masculine might have already they might see the feminine, they might know the feminine. There could be like a Page of Swords energy here where they are watching them, and they're about to tell them, hey, roll down your window. Hey, roll down your window. Which I don't know that anybody had. Maybe you have an old car. Maybe the feminine has an old car. Or maybe that's the discrepancy there, is you're telling them to do this and they're like, I don't know what the hell that means. So there's something about getting on the same love language, getting into the same, and if you're going to speak the love language of a divine feminine as the masculine, then you have to get into a more nurturing and understanding place, right? Or otherwise you're going to be too abrupt for somebody that is sensitive enough and that is nurturing and in their Empress energy enough to match you, right? And to keep you grounded, because that's that divine balance right there with justice. That's that divine balance, is finding somebody that can nurture your weaknesses into strengths, all right? And that's the beauty of having that duality in a divine union, right? And if you're the feminine, yeah, you could be very independent all by yourself for such a long time that your challenge is going to be letting a masculine energy lead you, but just keeping the faith that this individual, this masculine energy that sees you, they've been doing the work. I don't want to say that they're ahead of you, but they've been doing it longer, I feel like, or they've just tapped into their masculine aspect in a more balanced way because they are the masculine. So their masculine energy suits them pretty well. Whereas you being in the masculine aspect, flipping yourself from the Emperor to the Empress is a greater challenge, and so you may need some help with that, and there's no need to be Miss Independent and do it all by yourself all the time, right? So there's like a vulnerability of letting somebody in. If you're cross-watching for Aries, for a masculine Aries, yeah, if you want a divine masculine to come in, then they're gonna need you to be soft, right? They're gonna need maybe the window down a little bit, right? King of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, the Devil, King of Pentacles. Yeah, there's so much masculine energy here. We do have the Queen of Wands with the King of Wands, but they're looking in different directions, right? They're right there. It's like you guys are, like in the cartoons where they back up and they back into the, and their eyes, pop out of their head or whatever. I feel like it's going to be such a pleasant surprise, but there's just that little shift of getting into their feminine aspect. So things that are really good for that are doing yin yoga, and child's pose, and then something about consuming things that are cooling, right? Drinking lots of water, of course. That's always going to be, that's beneficial for everybody. But I feel particularly you could be dealing with like dry mouth, dehydration, when you're burning so hot like that. And also I was getting some tropical energy during my moving meditation for you guys. And so if that's the case, you could be in a tropical environment, or your person could be in a tropical environment and you're picking up on that momentum that they're going to need. Because if you are an independent, strong Empress, you are discerning and you're not letting in riffraff, right? You're only going to accept an Emperor. So if that's the frequency that you're on, your person's coming, but they also, it might be like, okay, here we go. They're going to have to really amp it up. They're going to have to really be very strong in that masculine energy to meet you where you are. And so I feel like if there's all that masculine energy, you guys, I feel like when you guys come together, you're going to soften almost immediately. But there might be, but there might be a little bit, Seven of Cups and Eight of Cups. Yeah, coming out of this, this is indecision here. There's too much going on. This is making a decision, that Eight of Cups. That's a decision to go take a path that is your own. Right? There's a decisiveness here, and to be in so much masculine energy and to hold down the fort, that's what I feel like the feminine is doing. They're like holding down the fort, and they're just going to drop the gate. They're just going to lower the gate. But that means that the Emperor is going to have to like get his whole army together, right? His his page is going to have to be there, for which the Emperor is the combination of all the masculine modalities and elements, so he's got them there. But even if you've got them there, it's still a little bit, it's still very challenging, right? A healthy challenge, but it's still very challenging to access things for what you want, right? If you dream big, it takes bigger moves and it takes more space, so that means illuminating more stuff, right? So there's a lot of, I feel like you guys have been holding down the forts independently and maybe feeling kind of isolated and lonely, waiting for your counterpart, right? And I love watching birds for any kind of wisdom on Six of Pentacles and Six of Swords. This is balancing a number of love too. Like this is balancing your head and your earth energy. So from the crown to the ground, right? So just sitting and doing some meditation, all right, and focusing these swords. Meditation is not about clearing your thoughts. It's just about isolating one at a time and going, okay, what do you need? What do you need? Like Horton Hears a Who, the 99 kids. He talks to each one and they're all very satisfied and they're all flourishing, right? So it's not about ignoring. See, this Emperor here, he's like pinning his devil down and looking away, and it's with this moon staff. So it's almost like the masculine could be kind of ignoring their devil energy, or this could be you if you relate with that. So yeah, keeping your eye on your shadows and just knowing that that's why the ego is so important. It's how we navigate. It's how we navigate this terrestrial existence that this incarnation that we're in. With the devil and the King of Pentacles, that's be aware of your shadows, the shadows of your ego, right? And you do that by sitting with yourself and having conversations with yourself, right? And checking in with your physical body, because your physical body will tell you, right? If you've got like a blockage anywhere in the body, anywhere in your column, your divine column, at any of those energy points, you're gonna feel it when you try to inflate that space and make space in there. Anytime you try to make room for something bigger, the purge and the letting go and that active elimination process is going to bring awareness to that space, and you're going to go, okay, I guess that's where I got to do some work. I guess that's where I still have a blockage, right? And just because you've done the work doesn't mean that the shadow is completely gone, right? It's still so if you know that there's a challenge for you, if you're trying to eat better, right? If you're trying to take care of your body in a more nurturing way, and you know that, and you just know that the fruits and the vegetables are going to go bad in the fridge, if you have to prep them from their whole food form, then, just buy them pre-prepped. If you have the ability to do so, which with the King of Pentacles, I feel like you're doing fine. We get the Six of Pentacles. I don't feel like there's any kind of struggle in your world. I feel like you're very independent. You can pay your bills. You can treat yourself, right? So maybe you have to make a shift there. Maybe you have to shift out of like treating yourself in one way so that you can treat yourself truly well, and maybe not spending the money on junk. You're just going to spend the money on like pre-prepped healthy foods to make it easy on yourself, right? Prep for success. And you guys are good at that. You guys are so good at finding success in anything that you do. And we could do a whole career reading. If you guys are interested in a career reading, we could do that. And if you, again, this is going to be about half of the time that I do. Like I could do a whole hour on one card. So, because I could just keep channeling. There's just so much information out there and in here for the collective. So, if you like longer readings, let me know. If you prefer a shorter reading than this, let me know. And then if you want something even shorter, just cut to the chase and show me some food prep ideas. Show me like a meditation, a reel on meditation. Very, very yin and nurturing, right? Not doing anything too yang or like hot yoga. I feel like there's a need to do very cooling stuff, right? Cooling down your environment, working on your internal thermostat. I don't know, maybe you used to roll on ecstasy a lot. That's very specific, but that will mess with your internal thermostat. could be menopause or like hormonal influences as well, and maybe that's why I'm getting the need to clean up your food and like the juice cleansing thing. But just know yourself and be aware of those your tendencies to slip out of your higher vibration that you're in, your aligned vibration, because anything that you're right there, your person's right there, so that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you. And so if you're feeling challenged, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling like any residual grief, and the more room that you make, right? Not only the closer you get to God, the closer the devil gets to you, but the more room that you make, the more tendency the ego has to want to fill that space with clutter, because that's what we're used to. That's what we just cleaned out. And so it feels unusual. So if you are doing some kind of dietary cleanse, then yeah, you might be feeling like, oh, I just want to, I've been doing so good, maybe I'll just binge on some junk food or whatever. And if you do, have compassion for yourself. It's not the end of the world. Just have your binge, get over it, don't make a habit out of it, get back on track, and maybe make yourself a deal where it's like, if I have this cookie, whatever, if I have this chocolate bar or whatever, then I can only have that if I have my juice in the morning, right? If I have my juice and my cleanse and all that stuff, and I eat really well, and I don't have oil, and I don't have any processed foods in my diet, then I'll allow myself this or whatever. So maybe make yourself kind of a deal. So you're still catering to the ego. You're still giving yourself a little bit of that indulgence, because sometimes we just need to indulge, and we need to maybe act out in little ways, right? If we're used to maybe being a party animal, it's like, cut yourself some slack. You've come a long way. You've done so much work. You've cleared out so much clutter, and you're dancing around. Now you're dancing around your house alone with your shadows, which can be a fun party and stuff. But when you feel the union coming and it's so close, it makes everything more and more tense. It's like the drawback of a slingshot just before it releases, and you guys are gonna launch for it. I feel like you guys, the emperor here is gonna be like, roll down your window. The empress is gonna roll down her window, and then they're both gonna be like, 3, 2, 1, go, and they're gonna not race. Like, it's not gonna be competitive, but they're gonna just go forward. There's this straightaway. And there's no one on there. It's like maybe the middle of the night on a highway. And there could be travel involved here. Again, with the tropical environment, subtropical environment, somebody could be coming to you. But in the longer reading that I did, the masculine is coming. I feel like they're coming to your door. They're gonna come swoop you up, is what I got. So a lot of vehicle symbolism and synchronicities, also migration and flight with the birds teaming up, and a lot of earth energy. I saw 2 woodpeckers pecking on the ground, and so that was just kind of odd. It was like the pairs of these birds together, and birds are just so fucking fruit flies, and yeah, maybe that's my cue to stop and end this here. Okay, so yeah, let me know time-wise what you guys are looking for, and if I don't hear back from you, I'll just continue to do this. And you're right there, Divine Feminine. Keep being discerning, keep holding down the fort. They're coming. I know they've been taking a long time, but if you're dealing with an earth sign or earth energy, right, very grounded energy, this person is doing it right. They're going to make sure they're not just coming in for a quick bang. They're coming in for the bomb. They're coming in for eternity, right? So it might seem like you've been waiting forever, but if you really look at it, you haven't been waiting that long in context of how long you're going to be together, right? So if you're struggling with impatience, yeah, I'll decide on what reel to apply to you after I do the rest of the signs. So I'm not repeating reels, and then so maybe some of the advice here will be a reel for somebody else's sign. And you can check those out or not, free will. But until then, I wish you well.